Welcome to the Hessian Scrum episode 2. Joining us today is none other than the man himself, the beast of 2000s black metal, Jan Krutwagen from Sammath. Hello, Jan.
Hello, hello, Nick. Thank you for the great introduction. I'll have to drink some more beer now.
For a legend like you, it's completely worth it.
Fuck off, man. Really.
Go on. How many great releases can we count? I don't have enough fingers for them.
I'm gonna have to disagree, but I've had a couple of good ones. Yes, thanks.
Yeah, and you've been pretty public about a lot of the ongoings. Unlike a lot of very angry black metal people, you don't seem to hide behind mystery. You're always smiling.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah.
People.
I've heard that a lot. I remember when I had some. Who was that? I can't even remember who it was that I had over. I think it was. Yes, Rob from Graveland was here years ago, and we were in town talking to some guys from a Dutch band. Can't remember the name of the guy, and he said to me, we were sitting there together. He said, "You could have been look at Rob. He's doing very well, and you could have, if you had added some more mysticism to your music, who knows what could have happened." But I never wanted to. If you're going to be making this kind of music, going to be playing games, it's just not my thing. It's as simple as that. I have no spiritual bone in my body, so it's just you can't fake that shit. So fuck that. If it isn't rowdy and it isn't fucked up and hard, it's just not worth my time. And I'm not going to play any games. And if people don't like that, who gives a fuck, really?
Actually brought me on to a really interesting point. A lot of times people associate black metal, with this, like you said, the mysticism, the spirituality. So you lose a lot of the aggression, that was building up in metal, from heavy to thrash to death. And black metal killed it.
I totally agree with you on that one, Nick. I mean, I had that problem when I started. It was every time if you're not spiritual and you try to write spiritual music, it always sounds pathetic. So it just doesn't work. And it's just like when you start a band and you're trying to find your way try to find your own little niche in this kind of music, which is pretty fucking hard to begin with, and it finally works. Then you look back and you think, oh, wait a minute, when I was doing that first demo or the second demo, and we had a lot of strange keyboards in it, it just didn't fit in with what I am as a person. So it was. I remember sitting on the plane back from a show. I think it was I went to see Mysticum in 2014 in Finland. On the plane back, we were sharing I was sitting next to the vocalist or the bass player from a Funeral Winds, and he said to me, your music's really fucking rowdy, but I said, it's not spiritual. I said, no, well, your music's not spiritual, but maybe if it's just not there, don't fake it. Why? Black metal is about being who you are. Probably that's about it.
It's funny also because your first song, "Visions Upon Winterlands," that is like the most un-Sammath thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Even the starters. I heard it this week for the first time, and I don't know. Someone uploaded it last Wednesday. And I was like, fucking hell, how did I fuck that up? Well, the bass starts and then the guitar starts and the drums fall in about 1.5 seconds later. It was all recorded on a 4-track Tascam shitty thing at home. There was, how back in the day we were glad we had power. No, it was really. It couldn't have been more amateur than that was. It was. I don't know. It was a great start, but I was just trying to find my way into getting my own sound in some way, and that was really weird because if you think back, we sold like 600 demos, I think it was. And listening to it now, I couldn't even understand anyone who want to buy
that. Yeah, there's this kind of weird. Hobbyism to black metal at times that feels like people collecting cards or something. Or
Yeah, that's a great explanation of it. Yeah, it was like I remember when the second demo came out. I was selling that at I was selling at a gig at the Baruch in Rotterdam. I think it was '94. I don't know if it was Gorgoroth or Satyricon playing. Anyway, one of the two. And I remember I had 150 tapes, and we had the car parked next door to the venue. I mean, I never drove. I always make sure someone else was driving.
Mhm.
And I remember waking up in, I think it was in hospital 2 days later in Rotterdam somewhere, and we sold every demo tape that afternoon. So we sold like 150 tapes at one gig. Imagine that. That's strange shit. These days, that never happens anymore.
Yeah, no, you'd be surprised if like bands sell one CD, at a small gig now.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. When we were in, we last year we went to Serbia, Romania, and Russia, and it was amazing. And especially in, I think it was amazing in all three countries. It was astonishing how many people were actually buying stuff.
I think we should thank the Dutch embassy in Serbia for helping a bit.
That was weird. That was so fucking weird. I remember we were walking around in Belgrado, and we were all extremely pissed. It was 10 o'clock at night, and they had a radio interview arranged for us. We really thought it was going to be just something taped. So Wim was pissed beyond belief, and the security didn't even want to let him in. He said, "No, he's the guy getting interviewed." Now we're like, "Oh no, you're kidding me." Okay, we'll help him upstairs then. And we came upstairs and we walk into the studio, and the red lights blinking. I was like, "No, fuck, it's live. Look at us. We look like shit. We're completely pissed." But it was a really good interview on the Serbian radio with some bloke who looked like the guy from ZZ Top, but he knew everything. So that was, I don't know. Music's always wherever you go. It seems like if you meet the right people, especially if you're really an underground band, it can be a barrel of laughs and good fun. And apart from the priority being straightforward, blunt as fuck black metal.
Yeah. For those who are listening and who don't know what we're on about, on Facebook, the Dutch embassy in Serbia actually said something like, "This is not quite our style, but here," and it was like something about Sammath playing in Serbia, which felt completely weird for everyone.
Yeah, I remember. I got an email from one of the embassy employees, and he was like, "Well, I would never. I put you guys on, and I thought, my radio was broken, and what the fuck is this?" But if you speak to those people and they realize there's actually people going to see the show, and there's people who know you there, and there's people who know you in Russia, and it's not like you're selling millions of CDs, but the way the underground works, it's good. It's good. It's a really strange way of. I mean, that's what was really missing in the Corona period as well. Is just meeting people, everywhere. That's one of the great things about what we do. But we never did that when I was younger, so it's good to do that now. But coming back to your question, in Serbia and the embassy, that was absolutely hilarious. Yes, my dad was absolutely proud as fuck when he saw that.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of the underground. You have these, like, sometimes for a lot of bands, you have these smaller flashes of like somewhat mainstream recognition.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we go. Well, sometimes it depends on where we go. Sometimes, since when we joined Hammerheart, it was really weird the first time. All the really bigger magazines who used to only give reviews always wanted an interview now, and we were selling a lot of CDs. We still do, and it's getting bigger and bigger. But that's something that really put me off it as well. It's never been my goal to sell lots of CDs. I just want to make a good album, and that's about the only thing that really matters. And that I can say that for women, for the bloke doing drums for Wim, the Madman, and Rude as well. If I tell Rudy we're having an interview, he says, "Nah, fuck that, I'm not doing an interview. Who cares?" And that's probably the reason why we've been doing this for 25 years, and it's never been about being a big band. It's making the better album than the last one. probably it. That's all.
I mean, which is funny because a lot of bands tend to soften up, tend to go into a more accessible mainstream direction. You've done the exact opposite.
Yeah, that's something that's really frightening me as well. Like, what the fuck's all that coming from? And the next album, Across the Rhino's Only Death, is probably the funny thing was that Godless Arrogance really was a breakthrough album for us in a way. Lots of people liked it, and we sold a shitload of CDs. And the first press was sold out quick on digitals on CD, and they had to repress it really quick. And then I thought, oh fuck it, the next album I'll just see what happens. And then the mainstream media didn't really pick it up much at all, and it was too one-dimensional, and it didn't have the tremolo riffs. And I think a lot of people who were a bit disappointed. On the other hand, we got loads and loads of sales. It was strange. The first press of 1,000 CDs sold out in 6 or 7 days, and that was really, really fucking strange for us. You know, the record label called me and said, "Yelma, have you got some CDs at home left?" I said, "No, I've sent them all out." And he said, "Well, I need 100 CDs now." What do you mean you need 100 CDs? I said, "Yeah, they're all gone. They're all gone." And I was like, "What the fuck? Are you kidding me?" I thought he was joking. So that was pretty fucking weird.
I mean, when you sent me a few CDs, right? I was expecting them to maybe sit on the shelf for a bit because those were quite those were the hype was gone. Across the Rhine came out in 2019. And here I was, as soon as I received the CDs, I think they pretty much all disappeared within
yeah, that was pretty hilarious. I'm still surprised that when I make a shirt, we made 100 shirts when the CD came out, and they were gone in a week. So I made another 100 shirts, and they were gone in 3 weeks. And I was like, nah, fuck this. And now I made another 100 shirts, and I've got like 3 or 4 left. But still, the fact that you're selling 300 shirts, that's a lot of shirts for what we do. The kind of music we're making. As you said, we're getting faster per CD. So and the next album is even faster. We're about 90% done, and it's turning out to be a complete combination of Godless Arrogance and Across the Rhine. So it's lots of tremolo riffing, lots of fast stuff. We have lots to talk about later, but it's going to be even faster still.
I've heard the demos, and I think the first thing I asked was like, did you program the guitars on like MIDI software, or are you actually playing it? That was like my first question.
I'm just sitting here at the table. I've got my phone, and I was counting the guitar picks I've been using this week, and there were like 28 of them just this week. That's fucking stupid. And I pay like €1 for every guitar pick. It's stupid. I can't play anything else. I play on these Dunlop 88s.
Yeah, the purple ones.
No, they're grey. Grey. They're Dunlop .88s.
Yeah, that's the same I use. I've got the exact same one, but in green.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, I can't play with anything else. On the back, they've got USA nylon on them.
Yeah.
And I'll pay €1 a piece for them. I've got 28 here from this week. I mean, fuck off, really. Thank God Hammerheart pays for everything. Ha.
Cheers to Hammerheart.
Yeah, great label. I was lucky. I was really lucky. Talk to Guido. He called me up and he said he wanted to do it, and I said, "Oh, what are you kidding me?" So I called Falter Records, and I said to Jurek, "You won't believe this, but Hammerheart's interested." And he said the first thing he said was straight away was, "Go for it." He didn't say anything. He was a really top bloke.
I mean, there's so many good record labels just in the Netherlands. It completely surprises me at times.
Yes, the scene is the Dutch scene. It can be absolutely terrible with people not wanting. How do you say that? There's the Dutch scene is strange but good. It's always, maybe it's more like a sort of, for lots of folks, it's a bit of a competition. But I bet every country has that in a way.
Yeah.
but over here you won't see many other musicians posting other Dutch bands on their own pages. You know, it's I do that, but I know a couple of people who do it. But it's really weird. It's really weird over here. Maybe because of the competition's big. You know, the Dutch scene has always been good. It's a good scene.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so many great bands in so many different styles. There's never been a Dutch sound.
No, it hasn't. But it's always been a Dutch. What the Dutch do well if it's I mean today I was just on Facebook checking out Facebook. Asphyx entered the German charts at number 3 today. Not the middle charts or the underground charts, just the fucking normal German top 100 charts.
Oh my God.
At number 3. I mean, for fuck's sake, that's saying a lot. I mean, and also it's saying shit because, you know, no one buys albums. The kids don't buy albums anymore these days, except the middle kids maybe. So what it means is metal people are still buying fucking albums and everyone else isn't. But that was pretty. I was pretty proud of that moment. You know, Asphyx is a fucking death metal band, and they're all, you know, they're a pretty popular band, and they just entering the charts at number 3. That's pretty amazing.
I know. Yeah. I think Ceremony came back with a release recently, as well.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. There's a lot of The thing is, what I think about the Dutch scene is the Dutch black metal scene from is like it's a bit divided in 4 parts. You've got the north of the north, and you've got Utrecht and surrounding area coming down to Arnhem, and then you've got the Brabant scene. You've got the west of Holland is completely shit for black metal, but it's got some pretty good bands like, you know, you got Funeral Winds. It's for a small country, we've got lots of shit going on. I mean, Sirith Gorgo is big, you know. Kilda's coming with a new album. They're really good. Stunfast, have you heard them?
Yeah, I remember hearing them a while ago.
Really militant stuff. There's a lot of bands. There's a lot of good bands, and it's always when you get a gig here, it's always pretty much packed as well. I think we played 2 gigs, and we've played 2 gigs. No, we had Arnhem last year. That's pretty much a hometown gig with me. I was pretty much fucking nervous as shit, though. Never had that normally, but when you play a hometown gig, you get nervous. And it was packed. It was sold out completely. It was absolutely amazing. We had people fucking. It was so fucking packed. There were people stacked up on the bar. You know, at the back of the venue, there's a big bar, and there were people standing on the bar to watch us. That was fucking amazing. I'll never forget that.
My God.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, the great thing about that venue was that 2 years ago, me and Rude we always visit concerts there. And I remember the girl that worked there said, "No, we can't book you guys. You guys are you're always drunk as fuck when you're over here and you're breaking stuff and you're smoking in the venue and what are you doing? And stop being an idiot." And I was talking to her and I was trying to calm her down and say, "No, it's not that bad." At that moment, Rude walked in, outside, and he just smashed it right over the table we were talking on. He broke the table and he fell on his back and looked up and said, "What are you guys talking about?" Fucking idiot. But anyway, we have a pretty much a good fucked up name here as well. That always helps.
Now that I think about it, you know, to go back to your point that you never had any spiritualism at all, I come to think of it, none of the Dutch bands have ever said the word Satan, you know, or anything related to that. You know, I'm thinking, you know, Pestilence had like almost scientific lyrics. Asphyx was you know, in real life things. Svartplug as well was kind of, you know, similar themes as well.
I think there might be a couple of them. I'm thinking of the guys from Burninger. It's a one man. Galgaras is a pretty. He was. You should check that out. Galgaras. Fucking amazing. Galgaras, a really amazing Dutch band from Nijmegen. It's a one man thing as well. He was pretty satanic. You've got Funeral Winds. But most of the other bands, the Dutch are way too fucking. And I'm only half Dutch, you know. I'm Australian Dutch, and I live in Germany. But the Dutch are really pretty much down to earth people. So that's probably why the black metal sounds really fucking grim, and it sounds honest because we're not playing. You know, we're not doing We're not panning our nails and being fairies. It's just fucking down to earth black metal. That's probably what the Dutch scene is about. Probably like the Germans thrash was in the 80s, you know, from the Ruhrpott area. It was always rowdy and it was honest. That's probably what separates us. I mean, if you look at some other countries and some other black metal bands, and you it's like shit, you guys look like a bunch of idiots. But you know, it's every scene to himself, I suppose. But that's probably why the Dutch scene is thriving so well. It's a lot less bullshit and let's let the music talk.
I mean, that's great. It's such an unappreciated scene.
Yeah, well, that's probably one of the good things about it, though. I mean, I don't think growing as a band, or not in my case anyway, since we've grown a bit as a band, I can't say it's been better for the band or anything. I mean, I don't think if you're making black metal, your goal should be to be big. Your goal should be to get an album out there that represents your character and represents what black metal means to you. That has nothing to do with how many people buy it or how big you are. I mean, that's probably one of the great things about the Dutch scene as well. It remains an honest scene.
So let's talk about Strid.
Yeah,
this was the big keyboards and pianos, and there was maybe some Finnish black metal in there, and
absolutely, yeah.
Very interesting record, but it felt confused and scattered.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think I was doing that with another bloke. I was writing most of the music at home, and on the other side of the forest there was a small town where Emma Manolito Gerritsen lived, a Dutch bloke.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bloke that used to drive me to concerts. So that was my luck. And he had a computer at home. And I was already starting with the band, and he said, "Okay, let's do that band." And we did that for. He was with me on the first demo and the second demo, and then we did straight, he wasn't even involved that much anymore back then. I really had enough of all his completely pathetic little keyboard shitty things he was doing. But, he was a friendly bloke. He was also a mate of mine. We just let it kind of, I don't know. I think I got the master. We had the master done. And after the master, I've never spoken to the bloke at all anymore. I don't know. I was really like pissed off at the way things were going with all the keyboard crappy things. And I was like, oh, well. Sometimes you just can't explain things to people, they just don't want to hear it, don't want to see it. I just won't ring him anymore. I just keep going, fuck him. And I went off to study history in another city, and that was about it. That's why Straight sounds confused. The black metal riffs were mine, and the shitty keyboard things were his. But on the other hand, in some tracks it really works. So it was, it's a pretty fucked up album actually. When you listen to it, the vocals are screeching everywhere and the keyboards are fucking weird, but sometimes they sound pretty good as well. I don't know. It's just a weird album.
You can't say it's a boring record at all. It's just very out there and very interesting in general.
Yeah, well, we got some. As I said, I usually never listen to albums at all, but. Straight's been re-released like 7 or 8 times now, so that's pretty. As fucked up as it may be, it's saying something. So there's about there's about a total of 10,000 or 12,000. No, what would it be? At least 9,000 copies of Straight in one version, a CD, vinyl or tape lying around at someone's house. That's a lot.
I like that you don't consider illegal downloads to be part of the copies of the album.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, that's probably, yeah. There's a lot of bootleg shirts made from that album. I know that. But I don't know. I just found out about Spotify. We were on Spotify like last year, and we have like 200 listeners a month. That's fuck all. And I was speaking to a Dutch band. I won't name them now because they'll probably hate me. And they had like a pretty well-known Dutch band, and they had like 400,000 listeners on Spotify total, and I've had like maybe 100,000. So they were 4 or 5 times as big as me, and they sold like 60 albums from home. And I'm like fucking Solombo here selling. I've got like 10, 20 packages a week to do sometimes. Fucking weird how that works. So they were like, "Yeah, we're a modern band." And I said, "What? You're an old school band." I said, "What does that mean?" And he said, "Well, you're an old school band, so people want to buy your stuff, and no one buys our stuff." So that was pretty fucking confronting in a good way. And I was like, "Oh fuck, that's pretty good then, At least people are buying our stuff, which is a good thing." But I've had 3 or 4 really strong beers, so I'm just talking too much. But we were talking about Straight.
Yeah.
We play. There's one song from Straight. There's 2 songs I really like. That's Drakenbloed and The Haters of Lams al Branden. There's 2 tracks we still play live these days.
Yeah, the middle tracks, and they work better without keyboards, I feel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I wish we had left out all those shitty keyboards, but you can't. Once it's been recorded and once it's put out, you can't go back. But what we played the 2020 versions with Wim on drums and just the bass, Ruud on bass, and me on guitars. Mm-hmm. And in Russia, people went absolutely apeshit when we played that song, so that was good. It might be an idea as well to get some of the old tracks re-recorded just without the crappy little Casios and see how they work out then.
Yeah. I think that's a very exciting proposition, and I'd be really interested in seeing how that goes.
I think what we want to do on the next album as well is try to I've done like 6 albums now with 8 or 9 tracks, and it's got to be like 35 minutes. Otherwise, it's an EP. And what we want to do is we'll leave that behind a bit. We've got now on the new album, we're going to have bass solos, just a track with just bass solos, and just 1 track with only drum solos. We've got like 1 track done with 1 or 2 guitarists in it, and the rest is just Wim. Wim's been writing that track for months now. It just sounds like a complete orgy of fucking hatred. It's unbelievable, and it's just there won't be any vocals on it. They're just like one repeating sentence, and just Wim like. He's been writing this drum solo. Every time I get an updated version, it's completely insane. Yeah. It's so what we want to do, we want to step away from the norm now. It's how many times can you do 8 songs, 9 songs, and that's it. We want to do like 10, 11 songs. Some songs with only sounds of like tanks. I'm going to be writing a song about where a family member of mine died fighting the Nazis in World War II, with only sounds of the troops coming towards. They've got recordings of the actual troops that killed him. Oof. So I want to see if I can use that in one way. It's going to be something different.
After Strid, there came Devastation.
Yeah.
This album really flew under the radar. I think it's the less popular Sammath recording ever, at least.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. In a way, yes. Well, and on the other hand, we sold them out in like there were 1,000 CDs made, and they were sold out in half a year, and that was it. But it was a really strange album. I did it all myself. Mm. I did everything myself, and I had only one guy doing some death metal vocals, Cor. Bloke I met in that album I made. I made that album in the first 3-4 years I was living on myself in Holland here. So that was the period I was completely smashed, probably 24/7. And all I was really doing was going to Amsterdam and where I lived in Nijmegen and. Getting completely shit-faced and trying to follow my studies without getting kicked off school. But the album worked out well. It was the drum computer was strange. I had absolutely no knowledge of the drum computer what I was using. But looking back, the album is going to be it got remastered a couple of months ago. It's going to be re-released by Zwaardgevecht in April on vinyl.
Nice.
And it just, well, the remastered version sounds absolutely fucking amazing. It's a pretty good album. But as you said, it was completely over. Well, in Holland here, it got some really good reviews. We got I think it was 90 points in Aardschok. That's the Dutch, the biggest Dutch magazine. And I was selling shitloads from home as well. And Volta Records was selling well. But internationally, it didn't do fuck all. I think, I don't know, probably not. Well, but I've always been doing a lot of posts from home, but I can't remember if it was tape trading or selling some other stuff most of the time. I've got like 20 boxes of posts at home,
Yeah.
Went back then.
So yeah, and then after that, you took a somewhat long break all the way till 2006.
Yeah.
Before doing the Dodden Gang.
Yeah, that was a good album in my view. That was probably the first album after probably some songs from Straight and some songs from the second demo, the Venus Flow Through, that I finally got the death metal out of my system from my youth, and then we just was in a slight way, we're finally finding a window where Sammath was getting its own face in some way. And that was a huge part, was finding the drummer. Of course, he was only playing in some shitty, he won't like me saying this, but he was playing in some shitty thrash metal bands, and they were complete utter idiots, destroying everything wherever they came. And I met him in Nijmegen when I was studying history.
Mm.
And we were like getting shit faced together for like 3 or 4 or 5 weeks before we even he went. I knew he was listening to Deicide, and he was listening to. He had like 2 things at home. He had a tape of Deicide, and what was the other band? Slayer. Yeah, he had 3 tapes of Slayer and Deicide, and that was it. And all other bands were gay and fuck them. That was his attitude. He wasn't even going to try. So fuck off with your metal shit. I don't care. And I said, well, let's make some music. And he said, no, fuck off. I'm not going to make music with you. Fuck off. 1 week later, when we're getting shit-faced again, let's make some music. Okay, let's try it. Let's make some music. Okay, here's my band, Sammath, and I'm writing some new tracks. And they just click straight away. I mean, Doorhang's a pretty. We recorded that in a really small studio, but on the other side of the country. But it really worked out well.
Yeah, it's really like the first album where you really find your voice.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh, it's always been the voice. The voice part's always been difficult up to Triumph and Hatred. The voice was always difficult. Not only getting the volume I can make at home, I was never able to, because I'm always recording the vocals at my own studio or in a studio where they don't have knowledge. I never wanted to go into a normal metal studio. That's always one thing I always wanted to avoid going to. We had a lot of bands from Holland going to Sweden or fucking Peter Targan or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon. Fuck that, paying some pricks 2,500-3,000 euro or gulden in that time to record the album. It's going to sound like every other piss poor effort, Because we have the bloke from Greek Holland did this and it sounds perfect. No, it sounds perfect. Yeah, it sounded perfect for 1 band or 2. And what am I going to be, like the next whore going there and paying shitloads so he can he's going to be laughing his dick off because the next metalcore band is going to be recording a band there. Fuck that. I'll just do it at home. And if you're going to be doing I should have recorded the vocals in the studio. Looking back though, because they always sound a bit weak. Because it's just you don't get the range. You're not, if you don't know what you're doing. Recording vocals, you're never going to be able to get the right range if you're not having the good microphone and the good program to record it. It's just like simple as that.
Yeah, I see exactly what you mean. I think extreme metal vocals are really weird because if you don't have the right material, or if it tends to sound weak, as in
Yeah.
not the recording's weak, but the sense sound like the singer is weak. You know, like you're not actually screaming. You know, it just sounds like you're sometimes it can sound like you're whispering.
Oh yeah, I get that. I get a lot of people. I had this. I think it was last year or something. Some bloke on some Facebook page, one of the black metal pages of Facebook. We had this Russian girl doing a pole dance version of one of our songs. She just came up with that. She sent me a video doing a pole dance version. I was like, oh fuck yeah, this is good.
Oh,
And then
the
there's
famous Maria Sue. Or whatever it was.
you were. I think you were involved in that conversation as well.
Yeah.
And he said to me, you and your Donald Duck vocals, and I was like, oh, listening back, I said, oh fucking hell, that little prick's got a. He might have a point. He might have a point saying that. But then I listened to his band, and I was like, no, he doesn't. He's just another dickhead. But you get it. It's difficult if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't know how to record a bass guitar or especially vocals, it's gonna sound weak. And that's probably one of the problems we had, being just me being a dickhead saying I don't want to record in those studios because everyone else is doing that. Fuck that. I'm gonna do it at home. Fuck them. So we always recorded the drums in the studio and the rest of it at home.
Yeah, I can get that. But then, you know, like you said, you know, the problem with with metal vocals, because, you know, you're screaming out as hard as you can, you know, when they sound weak, it hurts the ego, doesn't it? Like, do you ever find yourself kind of like...
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had that the first 2 or 3 times we were playing live, and I used to only play the guitar in the band, and then it was like we had a Hammer from Assegraum playing with us back in the day, and Cod doing vocals and me only doing guitar. But that really never really worked out, because Sammath was always different live than it was on CD. And then finally, after Godless Arrogance, it was like when our previous drummer had to stop. I was at the Crossroads at 2008, and I told the drummer, you know, we didn't even really speak to each other. My wife was pregnant. His wife was pregnant. I think everyone was doing something in their life. And I said, oh, fuck this. I'm not going to be playing live anyway. And then we all kind of stopped playing live. And then, you know, it's really hard when you listen to your own vocals live, and you're like, oh, fucking hell, I can do vocals live as well. I did some backing vocals the last show we did in 2008. I mean, why am I doing backing vocals? I'm the fucking vocalist for the band. What the fuck, you know? But I was always convinced I couldn't play guitar and do the vocals at the same time. And then I just spent like 1 or 2 months, it wasn't even years, like 1 or 2 months practicing every day, 2-3 hours. And then it finally clicked. And once you get that, that's the fucking good thing, Nick. And that's when you get the volume as well. If you play guitar and you do vocals, you're always going to be sounding stronger on the vocal department, because you know you're going to be fighting to keep it because you're doing 2 instruments. It's fucking hard. So your vocals are always going to be sounding a bit more angry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see exactly what you mean. And all the best vocalists in metal were always kind of like had a bass guitar or a guitar in their hands.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you look like a dickhead on stage with only a microphone in your hands. What are you going to put your other hand? You're going to be... that was the first thing that irritated me. We were like figuring out when we got back together, and we were like, oh, fuck, I want to play live shows. And I bought a house in the middle of fuck all. And I said to Ruud and I have always been in contact. I said, well, let's go. Oh, I need a new, you know, we need a new drummer. And I was getting in contact with Wim. And Course was he didn't have the time. He had 3 kids, and you know, I said, oh, fuck it, we need a new drummer. I'm gonna build my own studio, and then we could play 24/7. And that's when shit kicked off. That's when it really fucking finally came together, and that's when the vocals started getting some body.
Yeah, and you know, on the song Stalingrad, what surprised me, there's a death growl, and it sounds very similar to your black metal voice. Were you doing the death? Yeah, you were doing the death metal vocals yourself on that album.
Yeah. On Stalingrad, yeah, I did all them. Yeah. That was my only problem with death metal vocals is when I do death metal vocals and I do it more than let's say half an hour, I lose my voice for a week.
Oh,
And when I record a Sammath album, I lose my voice for like 2 weeks. But when I play live, there's fuck all. There's nothing wrong. It's really fucking weird, man. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm drinking too much beer afterwards. But anyway, but when I record an album, I always lose my voice for like. When I recorded straight, I lost my voice for like 3 or 4 weeks.
yeah. Then it's never the same after that, isn't it? You know, it doesn't feel the
No,
same. Yeah.
but that's probably the way it should be, though. I mean, if it's one thing I like and absolutely hate at the same time is when you hear a new AC/DC album or a new Cannibal Corpse album, you know, you're like, oh, here we go. Shit, look at me. I'm 10 years older and it still sounds like the same band.
Yeah, I heard the latest AC/DC. I couldn't tell the difference.
No, I had that. Yeah, and I grew up. That was probably the first band I ever heard was AC/DC when I was like 8 or 9, I think it was. And I was listening to Dire Straits and Michael Jackson when I was 8 or 9. And I remember I always liked the guitar solos in Michael Jackson's songs, and I liked Dire Straits. They were playing guitar, but I'd never heard anything else. And then one of my dad's workmates came home with a high voltage. I was like, fucking hell. What the fuck is this? And I was like, I think it was 9.5 or 10. And I let that rest for a bit. And then, I put the radio on my room. And I was about 11, I think it was. I had a radio in my room. And then we had this metal program in Australia, because everyone in Australia was fucking metal at the time. Yeah. And then I heard Death Row the first time, and Metallica. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. Oh, that's it. That's probably, then I was sold. And that was 80... 75, 84, 85, 86, 85. Yeah, fucking hell, that's a long time ago. 85, 86. Yep.
Talking about age, when we look at a lot of the black metal bands, you know, the Norwegian and the Latin American ones, you know, those guys did their best works when they were really young. You know, a lot of these guys sometimes were 16, 17 when they released their best album.
Yeah.
And you, on the other hand, you know, you were 32 when you released Dodden Gang, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, fuck yeah, spot on. Yeah,
32. I mean, how you did the opposite of every other band. You know, you only got better and better with age. It's
fuck. So I'm absolutely fucking stoked. I have that. Imagine being one of those pure bastards. One of those fucking poor bastards that has to go on stage every night and every cunt screaming they want to hear your first album because that was the best album you did. And when I go on stage, I know no one wants to hear the first fucking demo or the second or the third. And I want to hear one song from Straight, and I want to hear like maybe 2 from Verwoesting and maybe 2.5 from Dordekang, and it just builds up and builds up. That's probably fucking being relevant in that way is probably the best thing I've ever done. Music-wise,
that's great. It's like your passion only became stronger and stronger, and your music, the ideas in the music got better. I couldn't write music for shit when I was younger. I was absolutely trying to be what we talked about earlier. I was trying to be some mystical prick. I wasn't. And if you're not being who you are, well, you're not going to write fucking good music. You're going to be sounding like an idiot. I remember one gig that really stuck with me when I was younger. I'm not going to name the band or the band I was with. I was watching a German black metal band ripping off Bathory terribly at Under the Black Sun, and there was this Brazilian band standing next to me, and they were like almost crying. They were so irate and pissed off with that fucking cunt trying to be Bathory. And I said to those blokes, we were getting drunk together, and my wife was like, "Why are they so pissed off?" And I said, "That's why you don't understand metal, because my wife doesn't have fuck all with metal." I said, "Metal is so fucking important to those people. I know exactly what they're on about. There's just they're trying to be someone that they're not." And they were playing first band today, out of Brazil, fucking completely fucking packed in some shitty little van. And the big band was some fucking German imposter shithead trying to be Mr. fucking cool. But no one knows where he is now, no one cares. It's all about fucking passion. And that's all that counts. That's all there is.
And if you if as a band you get the like we do, you only get better when you grow older. I mean, that's something to be fucking really proud of.
Yeah, and then that leads us to, at the time, which is Sammath's most complex work and most expansive one, Triumph and Hatred,
Yeah.
and 3 years later.
Yeah, that was really oh, I wrote that album. I wrote that album. That was really fucking. I'm really proud of that one. The artwork is perfect as well. We had a bloke from America make a painting for it. I really, and the guitar solos were by my Mexican friend, fucking Andy. It's really, that album really worked out absolutely brilliantly. I'm sure we that album really did well as well, and was, but it was for a lot of people, it was too weird. It was too fast and too fucked up, and that's always the great thing about what I've been doing, is that people who like black metal don't like us, and people who like death metal don't like us. But there's a lot of people who like us, but you never fit into one category. That's always one of the things I've really enjoyed probably the most, is never really fitting in, Fuck them. But I'm glad you've Triumph and Hatred on red vinyl is probably the best thing we ever did before the last album, 2 albums.
There was like an almost heavy metal influence. You had much longer songs, and they were a lot more epic almost at times.
Oh yeah. I think it was in Dordogne I really started to write some riffs for the first time that were, had a good A to B sort of ending.
Mm.
And the song structures were getting a lot more depth in them as well, instead of being so freaky fucked up and just like A B stop. And the on Dodegang I was expanding more the kind of riff structures that really like surfaced in Triumph and Hatred. And the last song on that album, The Dead Lay Torn, was absolutely destructive. That's something we still want to play live one day, but it's just that song. Some songs on that album are really some of the best work I've ever done. I think 1 or 2 of the songs on that album.
All right, so we're back. We stopped at Triumph and Hatred. So what came after Triumph and Hatred? There was a very big break with you in general.
Yeah, I think that Triumph and Hatred was in what was it, 2009? Fucking, when was it? 2000. Yeah. Well, I had twins. Kids were born, and we moved to Germany. We already moved to Germany. We were getting everything done here. I was getting my own company set up. I was playing guitar daily, but there was nothing at all worthwhile appearing at all. So it was just a matter of just not being able to record anything decent. And then it just faded away. The thoughts of recording an album just faded away. It took us like 4 years before I started writing again. If you become a father, your priorities simply have to change. I'm not going to be some bloke like most metal bands. Daddy has a passion for metal music, and we all live in some shitty apartment. No way. I want my kids, my wife, and my kids to have it good. So we just fucking work hard and make sure we got a really big place to live in, and lots of room and lots of space and lots of money. That's about it.
Yeah, that's a real mentality to have.
There's no other way if you're a father.
One thing that's always been very particular about you is that, you're very public on the internet and everything. And, there are even videos with you and, your son playing along with you, drumming along.
Yeah. That's probably, people warn me about that. Like, don't ruin your image. Well, I don't think, I think playing with my own blood, who's 12 years old, and I don't force black metal on him, but I just show him music. But he wants to learn double bass and play black metal with me because he can tell I like it. I mean, that's probably the most cult thing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, are your kids naturally attracted to your music?
No, I don't know. When they were kids, I mean, they're twins and they're like me, so they're very talkative and they're always. You can always tell when they walk into a room somewhere already. So when they were younger, they were really energetic, and I just put them in. We'd run circles in the house, listening to blasphemy and old incantation, and it probably hung around somewhere. I mean, my daughters, they're 12 now, but they don't like it. They don't listen to metal at all. They're 2021 kids. They listen to metal. But I can tell my son's likes to play drums. If you like to play drums, what kind of styles can you play? It's rock. Rock's the nicest way of drumming, unless you want to go all jazzy but artsy fartsy. That's nothing. That's nothing. He'll hear here. So keep it rowdy.
I can imagine, metal was very important during religious education. If you're listening to blasphemy and incantation with them.
Yeah, I think my daughter remembers it. Metal's a huge part of my life. It's about in all I do outside of family and work related stuff is make or listen to black metal or metal in general. So they know, and every week the band's here, and they know the band well. They're like brothers to me. So it's a very big part of what they are as well.
That's great. And then, so the only thing that really came out between 2009 and 2014. I think your old demos were on a Dutch compilation.
Oh yeah, for Zwaartegevecht. Yeah. Alex has a label who specializes only in Dutch black metal, and he used to really be frowned upon by some of the bigger Dutch bands. Like you don't want to release stuff with him. It's all he has is some shitty demo bands, and you can tell exactly who the real arrogant, pathetic pricks are, all the real supporters of metal. And he was, Alex has every Dutch release in extreme metal he has at home. And if anyone's going to release my shit on tape, it's going to be him. And it's going to be even better than that. He's going to be re-releasing or releasing for the first time the Verwoesting and Dodegang on vinyl in April.
That's great.
They've been remastered, and that's going to sound great. But Alex did all the demos, and he put them on one cassette, and then he did he's done every cassette now. The last 4 professionally, and the first one back in the day, then it was all copied tapes. Even in the 2000s, that was pretty cool.
What is really funny is that you had that huge break, and then all of a sudden, you went to the next level, the time that came after. I mean, how did you manage to handle that break, where you're dealing with very mundane things, your main source of joy is your family, but then, you're dealing with your company, you're dealing with work, you're dealing with money.
Yeah, it's really, truth be told, I really can't explain. In 2008, the kids were born. In 2000, yeah, and then the next couple of years after that, I bought my neighbor's place, and then I started writing music immediately. I had the whole house to make a studio of it. I didn't have a proper rehearsal room. We were like playing music here, and the drum set was here, but nothing came out. And then in 2012, we wrote. I think I wrote Shot in Mass in 2012. And then shit just went pretty fast. It was 2013, beginning of it, when I wrote Godless Arrogance in about 3 months probably. Worked everything out, and then we rented a shack here in the village, in the middle of nowhere, because I didn't have my studio done. And the drummer, of course, back then, he was. He had the same situation as I had. He had 3 kids during that time, also his own company. And he was also completely stressed out and pissed off at everything. So, he really busted his leg open when he was drumming. He literally split his leg open at the top after 3 days of recording the drums.
Insane.
Yeah, he was hitting the snare drum so hard, and he didn't have his setup completely the way he liked it. And he just on his top leg on his thighs, just below, on the top of his leg, like right between the knee and the hip. He just smashed it. There was a crack in his leg about, well, it was about 6-7 centimeters long, and it just opened up like a wound. And it's just all from just fucking his arm just hitting the snare drum. It was insane. That was really, really completely fucked up.
The only band I can really think of is, the early Immortal stuff, Pure Holocaust, Battles in the North, because of that speed. But
well, that's fucking insane, man. Being Immortal. The only Immortal albums I have is Up Till Battles in the North, but that's fucking brilliant. Even being mentioned in the same breath as those bands, and the way Godless Arrogance got picked up was really, really insane. It was like we signed to Hammerheart as well, so that was also a huge step for us. So we kind of got the first album that we did that was absolutely over the top extreme in some parts, was on a really big label as well. You could pick our CD up from Japan to Australia to fucking everywhere. That was really weird. I mean, I'm used to selling lots of stuff, tape trading and CDs, but this was a whole new level for everyone. We got CD of the year on a couple on Mini, a website, and that was pretty. It was fucking awesome. It was good, and it was finally probably after Triumph and Hatred. For me personally, it was like finally things worked out.
Yeah.
Everything worked out. All the riffs, everything came together just as. It wasn't scattered. It was really much concentrated on exactly how I wanted it to be.
I mean, what's surprising is that, considering the tempos, like, of those songs, they're long. Fear Upon Them is about 6.5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't, you're not using a million riffs. You're playing a handful of riffs each song, but it just flows so well. Despite each riff coming and going within a matter of seconds. I mean, how did you manage to get such a great and tight arrangement? Despite the insane speed and the lengths of the song.
It comes down to simple practice. You write what I usually do is I write a demo with a click track, and then we started jamming at the drummer's place, or we couldn't do it here all the time. We'd do it during the day, but the neighbors are pretty far away. It's about 100 meters to my neighbor's place, so they but you can't piss them off all day.
Yeah,
and it was just a matter. It's just simply rehearsing. That's all it is. Rehearsing, and fucking just keeping going. I mean, I'd be throwing up halfway doing the vocals. Recording the vocals was a fucking long way of misery. I had that on every album, but on Godless Arrogance, it just all worked. I mean, the guitar riffs were killing me. My hands were falling off. I'd get cramp, and just keep playing till I could get it right in one go. And that's what you can hear. You can hear the pain on the album. You can hear the drummer getting tired. You can hear me not coping with the vocals. It just sounds fucking real. That's probably where the absolute hatred. You can hear it. It's not digitalized. It's not bullshitted. It's just fucking there.
The part that strikes me out the most is, like, despite the aggression, despite the hatred, despite the speed, it is such a rich album in terms of melodies, in terms, you're not just playing kind of typical 4-3-2-1. It's not like the kind of typical chugging pattern, or
no.
At times two guitars are playing different things. You're playing chords across like 4-5 strings at the time. It's, how did you manage to write something that despite being this brutal is catchy?
Yeah, I think what people have been saying the last couple of years since the last album, Across the Rain, came out, which is a pretty much more straightforward album, because I didn't want to do Godless Arrogance Part 2. The new album will be a continuation of what Godless Arrogance was, and it's probably even more diverse and faster and catchier. It's just I don't know. It's just my way of songwriting, and I'm fucking lucky to, evolve, getting better each album instead of being a one album wonder in the 1990s. Fuck all, who cares? And then being a dick 20 years. We're just lucky that we get better. You know, I get better musicians surrounding me. Course was a great drummer, but Wim is more streamlined, but even wilder than Course was. Roots bass lines are getting getting prominent as well. So it's just, how do you write songs like that? I don't know. You just I never plan shit. I just go sit down and write stuff, and then just see what happens. And on Godless Arrogance, everything worked out well, and it just there's a really strange militant kind of audience for it as well. That's also something that's, you can tell what kind of album you've written and the response that you get. On the last album, on Across the Rhine Is Only Death, we got a lot of more traditional people who, in some funny fucking way, a lot of them are in the military. You know, I've had at least 8 people from the Dutch army come to my house and buy stuff from me. I mean, what the fuck? They just call me up and send me an email and say, "Well, I want to buy the new CD and a T-shirt and this and that." So, well, you just order it online. No, I want to get to know you and see. And they're all military people. And Godless Arrogance was all very much more. It was an underground record per se. You know, it was a complete underground record, and that was probably one of the best things about it.
The thing that really sets it apart, because, you know, a lot of bands can play at that speed. A lot of bands, you know, can go as hard as, you know, as you guys were going there, but no one can do it with actual songs. You know, not to insult, but a lot of these war metal bands, they just kind of blur together.
Oh yeah, it's like but I don't think I listen to a lot of war metal here, and I've been buying. I'm sitting in my studio now with one or two. I'm not going to call any name because they're all fucking good bands, but I think I've bought about 10, 12 war metal CDs the last half year. If I've had 6 or 7 beers, I couldn't even tell you which band it is. You know, yeah. They all sound the same. It's 1, 2, 3 chords, 4 chords. No one goes above the 5th track because fuck you, they're going to chop your head off or something. I don't know. Yeah. There's no personality in it. I mean, lots of people don't like my stuff, which is good. But I can tell you one thing: if you put on my band, you can hear in 5 seconds, you know it's Sammath. And that's something I'm proud as fuck of.
The intro of you know, for example, "Thrive in Arrogance" from that album, you know, it's you guys, and it sounds different to the other songs on the album, which is just as important. You know, everything's there.
I mean, what we're going to do, Nick, in about 3 months' time, when the new album's done, and you're going to hear that new album, and you're going to, it's like Godless Arrogance Part 666. I mean, fuck, dude. Really, the record label, I let him hear a couple of tracks. I sent him 3 tracks, and he was like, "Fuck, dude, this is the album you should have made after Godless Arrogance." I said I couldn't make this album after Godless Arrogance because I knew I had to get it back to complete and utter basic. You know, as you said, war metal. It's a bit simpler. The last album, it's a bit more straightforward. But this time I thought, I'm not going to bank that album again. You know, you can't get it faster than the last album. So we're going back to what I'm good at, is tremolo riffs and letting some old thrash metal ideas come back and played in a Sammath black death metal way. It's the great thing is our 7th album will probably be, I think it's going to be people are going to say, "Oh, Godless Arrogance for good," but then he wrote Across the Rhine to get it out of his system, and then he came back with a really fucking good album.
I still like Across the Rhine. It's very completely different style. It's very
I love it. Yeah, the last 3 albums. No. I like Dodegang was good. Triumphant Hate was good. Yeah, they're all albums I'm pretty much proud of. The first two were just fucking weird. But for Woosting, the remastered version of For Woosting, it didn't even get a proper master back in the day. It did, but it was some fucking derelict prick from Holland. He made a proper mess of it. But we got it. Peter Neuber, the guy who does all the Sammath albums, did For Woosting. I mean, fucking hell, he even made that. He made it sound so fucking good. Really, I can't wait till that gets out. We've got a completely new artwork done as well for it. It's pretty good though. That people are. I mean, that people even want to hear that old shit. That's good.
In a scene that's bombarded by constant metal, some albums will always stand the test of time.
It's funny. It's funny. That's that. I think everyone who makes a metal album always wants to be that cult band or wants to be that band that did that album and that style and that will always be remembered. And everyone tries so fucking hard, and some people make it, some people don't make it, some people get big, some people remain pretty small, like I am. The music's too extreme for most. There's not black metal enough for black metal. There's not death metal enough for death metal people. But we got a fucking pretty huge following, considering our style. And what people should never forget is that's not really important. The only thing that really important is that people like you or a couple of 4,000 or 5,000 other people who buy the CDs are like fucking really fanatical, and that's probably the only thing that's really important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely agree with you, Dan. Now,
I mean, who gives a shit if you play in? I mean, I could name, you could name, we could both name like at least 10 black metal bands who should have stopped ages ago, playing total shit, being commercial fuckwits, standing there with their fireworks and their crackers and their little leather jackets and their little polished nails and makeup and sitting there with a fucking hairdresser before a show. I mean, really, seriously, that's not what black metal's about. Fuck you, fucking idiots. Fuck them. I mean, have you even seriously seen Systericon when they? I haven't followed that band since the Shadow Throne. I love that album and the first one as well. But after that, you could smell the pathetic way they were going. And I don't really care what people think of me when I say that, but I mean, Satya has a fucking hairdresser when he plays a show, really.
And makeup,
I mean,
I think.
Yeah, makeup artist and is there some bloke sucking his dick as well? I mean, really. So he's getting his hair done, his dick sucked, and what does that have to do at all with what this music is about? Nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. I played with Isvind. I mean, fucking Tommy from Isvind. You know Isvind? They're a really, really good band. There's so many good bands that luckily didn't get big and luckily didn't get destroyed. You know what I mean? There's so many people, so many bands no one knows about that. Thank fuck no one knows about them.
There's one band, very underground, I think that you love as well, is Needham Division 187.
Ah, fuck yeah, of course. Impergium, yeah. Fuck yeah. Absolutely smashing. The guy, the vocalist from Dawn, what was his name again? Fuck, I can't remember his name again. But Needham Division, towards Judgment, and I've got them both here. I've got the minis there. That's fucking brilliant. That's the same vocalist as Dawn. Dawn. They were on Displeased Records, I think it was. Really catchy tremolo-driven black metal. But that's the same. That's the stuff I've always been into. I mean, but who knows that band? No one knows that band.
Now, honestly, for anyone who hasn't listened to it, I really do recommend the full length.
Absolutely. I'd recommend. Mate, from that period. from that period, that like, Mid Division 187 was absolutely brilliant. But there was so much more. I think it was Thornium from Sweden. They had a really not quite as extreme as that. They had a really good album out as well during the same year. But that was a music the music that really, all that really true underground stuff. That's probably the only music I ever really got into. I mean, you don't put on a Vartain album or any modern black metal album, and I don't know. I just sit there and think, my God, what happened? You know, my neighbor plays in a rap band who sounds fucking more heavier than them. What the fucking idiots!
God,
but what can you do? It's the times. Have you? I mean, if you're an old fart like me, there's probably like 560 bands every 5 minutes I could name that have more impact on metal than what's going on with all those bigger bands touring and, you know, I don't know, making a living off music. Jesus Christ, what the fuck are they doing?
Yep. Don't make a living off your music. Literally never.
No, for me, it's absolutely important that I don't make money off my music. That's like the number one rule. Do not give me money for album sales. I mean, I'm a man. I like money. I'll probably become all fucking weird and commercial and be some fucking prick as well if it comes down to money. So I just said, I just don't want money. We sell like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000 albums. I don't want money. Fuck it. Just give me a guitar. Let me record in a good studio. I'll make some shirts. We made like 300 shirts of the last one. We sold 350 shirts, I think, in the end, in a year. Oh, what we do? We just get pissed from the money. I'm not going to save it. We just make sure whenever we have a big gig and we sell shirts, I'll make sure we drink it all at the end of the night. Don't make money off fucking black metal. It's passion. It's passion in life. You don't want to make money off that. It's just fucking stupid.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Except let me rephrase that. Except the record labels. You know, I mean, Hammerheart Records calls me up, and this guy Guido, he's been at it for 25 years as well, 30 years, and he calls me up and says, "I want to release your album." And I was like, "Oh, are you fucking kidding me? It'd be on the same label as Cryptopsy and fucking, you know, Pestilence. I mean, that's something for Sammath, you know. Are you sure? You sure you want to release our stuff? Yeah, you guys are fucking good. You know, send me some demo songs." And I sent him some demo songs of Godless Arrogance. He was like, "Yeah, I want to sign that straight away." So he needs to make money off it, not me. It's his job. He has a nose for bands, you know, he really does. So I was pretty fucking proud. But as a small band, what are you going to do what are you going to do being a prick trying to make money off this, you know? For what reason? You're going to make like 10,000 euros. Yeah, well, fucking go get a job, dickhead. You're going to make more money.
Yeah, exactly. Which is really fucking sad, to be honest.
It is. And there's a lot of them. But what can you do?
Sammath was doing really well, but you know, you never really had another band up till 2014.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, hilarious. I mean, yeah, well, that all worked out so unbelievably weird and quick. I mean, that's a really funny little story I can tell you in about 3 minutes. You ever heard of a Dutch band called the Monolith Death Cult?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, the guy Michiel from that band, he was. I live across the border in Germany. It's cheaper to buy gas here. So what lots of people do from Holland is they drive to Germany, and they go get their petrol filled up. It's like 40 cents a liter cheaper. That's a lot of money. But anyway, I was at home, and he called up and he said, "Oh, I'm going to be tanking there, and I've got some guitars to sell." I said, "Oh, well, fuck it, I'll buy one. Bring something nice." So he had, I think it was 2 or 3 guitars with him, and I said, "No, I'll have that one." It was a really, shit. Trying to think what it was now. It was a limited edition something or other. fucking hell, what was the name of the guitar? Doesn't really matter. Anyway, it was a guitar, and it was down tuned in B, and I'd never played in B before. And I bought the guitar off him. He went home. I didn't know what tuning it was in. I didn't even play it. I said, I'll have that one. He gave it for me a really nice price. So I went into the studio at night, plugged it in. Fucking hell, this sounds fucking good. You know, down tuned. I was playing down tuned black metal riffs. And at that moment, I got a call from the guy up north from Kjeld, Marta, really good bloke, known him for ages as well. And he said, you know what we should do? We should get a project going. You know, do something different. And I said, fuck, dude, I just bought a guitar tuned in B. Let's do something. And five weeks later, to the day, we had Kark written and done. Like there was nothing. And then 5 weeks later, the album was written, recorded, produced. The cover was done, and it was finished. And that worked out absolutely fucking brilliantly. Fucking love that album.
I mean, Storm Cult is incredible. I mean, how did you manage? Because you wrote pretty much everything except for the synths and the vocals.
Yeah, but what I do is the same with the new one. We have heard some stuff of. I write a Kark album in about maybe maximum 4 weeks.
You were able to do something in a very, very different style. You know, both bands might be black metal, but you know, apart from the name, they have nothing in common.
No, absolutely nothing. No, it's probably the down tuning. When I play Kark, I mean, riffs come every like 5, 6, 7 seconds. It's just I could play that continuously. I mean, I wrote half the Kark album in like 3 nights, 4 nights maybe. I don't know. It's just something with the down tuned riffing. It just, I don't know. It all sounds so fucking unbelievably old school as fuck. And the funny thing is, I don't think I own any. I probably do. Oh yes, I do. I mean, old Balsagoth. You know Balsagoth, the English band.
Yes.
I'm really. That's probably one of my guilty pleasures. Is not only the first and the last album, all in between. I can't stand much of it at all. But the Catonic Chronicles and Black Moon, Broods over Lemuria, really, they're like some of my favorite albums, and they write it B as well. I think it was. Not sure. Don't pin me down on this one. An old ball thrower. Mm-hmm. Who else? Fuck. Well, not many, but it's just a matter of, you know, you know how it is, Nick. You make music, you sit down, you write some stuff. But to be honest, I write the riffs for Kark. I write all the basses, and then it all gets sent off to the guy from North Falka and Kjeld, and he's the one that does a lot of arrangements and shit to it. It's not like he changes much, but he changes just enough to make it that one or two notches higher that make it that something really special, you know?
Yeah.
And he adds the keys as well and the drums. And the funny thing is, and no one has ever talked about that, Kark sounds so fucking dark and sinister because there are no fucking drum solos or any gimmick bullshit at all. There's just a bass drum, a snare, and a hi-hat and a crash and cymbals, and there's no tom-toms at all. It's old school as, I don't know, it all really worked out well. Really like that one. The new one's going to be a bit more dark and a bit more epic, but still something really nice.
Yeah, you showed me the bass lines, and I was shocked at how just, you know, disgustingly evil they were. You know, rumbling on the low end, but still some really strong ideas. You know, it remind, you know, this is just from the demos, but it reminded me a lot of Beherit. Drawing down the moon.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, well, that's absolutely that's probably something everyone that would, especially someone my age, about what was it that would make me 31 years older than when Beherit started. So that give me the eternal youth, for fuck's sake. No, but that's good. That's fucking good. I mean, I listen to a lot of Tools as well. That's probably a huge influence on Kark, though, to be quite honest. The first Tools is fucking. It's a really amazing album, but or maybe it's not the same kind of style, but it's the same kind of bass approach with bass lines and And the thing about Kark is Root from Sammath is doing the bass lines for Kark now, so it's gonna be a lot harder and probably a bit more darker and faster and fucked up than it was before. The bloke doing the vocals, should be coming down here in the next month or so. We hope to get the bloke up north in the north part of Holland and gets the drums and keys done. But you know, it's a really fucked up time at the moment, especially for people with the young children. All the kids are at home and need homeschooling, and you've got your small children of 4 and 6 and at home all day. I mean, if you're not going to go insane now, you probably never will. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky that we've got a huge house, well, 2 houses. So I spend a lot of time at nights in my studio. And during the day, the kids are upstairs in their rooms doing homeschooling. But you know, they're about 50 meters away. But if you're going to be stuck in some shitty apartment somewhere, these Corona times are not the best place in the world to be at the moment for a lot of people with families. You know, it's fucking hard. So we're waiting on him to get his stuff together. But I expect him. He told me he can't wait to start somewhere the first 2 weeks of February. So, well, I think Kark should be done around April.
I can't wait. And, you know, we've spoken about certain parts of, the distribution. So, you know, we'll get into details at a later time, and we'll make an announcement later on when things are set in stone.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Photo Recorders will be doing. I've always said, and as I said, I support the way what you're doing, mate, with your label. You're finding you've got a great nose for bands. You've just started out well, and absolute support. So we'll get a fucking huge, nice release on that one.
Now let's move back towards Sammath. So 2 years later, you did something that no one would quite expect: a live album.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty much a spur of the moment thing, and I remember sending the recordings to the poor producer Peter Nuber, and he said he wrote back saying, "Jan, when are you going to send the true recordings? You've sent recordings of your tape, of your Ghetto Blaster recording a concert." And I said, "No, that's it." And he tried to repair. It was probably more. It was for me. I told Alex from Zwartgezakt as well. For me, it was a statement that Sammath was back with a new lineup, and we used to have a completely different live lineup with Cor on vocals and Hanna from Assegroom on guitar, and Koos on drums. So we were like going back from 5-piece to 3-piece, and I was doing the vocals for the first time finally. So we were like, really, for the first time, we were sounding like some of us should be.
Yeah.
And that was something that I really needed to have to record and put out, because people at our shows were so fucking amazed. And that was pretty cool. The first gig we did was in Groningen at a gig with Dark Funeral and fuck knows who else. And we played at 1 o'clock at night as last band. And the guy said, "Yeah, don't expect too many people to show up. You know, it's your first gig. If you'll be lucky, people are going to be going home with trains." And it was fucking 1 o'clock at night, and it was completely packed. And I hadn't played live for 10 years, and there were people in the front rows with the shirts on from back in the day. And I said, "Fuck it, we've got to record this. Get someone to record it." Very, very last moment, and someone recorded it as best they could. I don't know. It just came out. It came out so absolutely filthy.
There's some live videos of that concert on YouTube. That's the one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it turned out really well.
Yeah, we had there's a lot of people who like the band who I'm lucky. That's the great thing about metal. There's always someone who likes your music that records videos. But I don't get them to do it for free. I always say, look, if you're going to be recording my band or filming my band, and some bloke put down 5-6 cameras to record a show, I said, "Well, here you go. Now I want to do it for free." So I'll just give him a couple of €100 or at least 250. So he's got some costs, covered, and just give him some money so he can put in his pocket. Because you don't want to make use of him because he likes the band. But we have a lot of fanatical people who just okay, we need to get you guys recorded. The problem is back when we started, we should have put some more money in getting it recorded, the audio well, instead of making great videos with shitty audio. That's that's stuff you learn as you go along.
Yep, and it's also an important lesson. Don't make money by doing black metal. Make money by filming Sammath.
Yeah. I think the bloke, he was really fucking surprised that I put 250 euros in his hand. He said, "No, I don't need it. I will go buy a beer then." I think at the end of the night, he wished he didn't say that. It was all the money was being we were drinking like idiots that night. So I don't think he went home with a lot of money. But it's people. As I said, it's always about the music. It's never about the money. It's never about the image. It's never about any other bullshit except three dudes just fucking making music. And I can tell you one thing, I don't think in Holland at the moment there's anyone doing this as extreme and as fast and as fucked up as we are.
I can't think of any band that's similar to Sammath like right now. I could think about a lot of stuff from the 90s, but not today.
That's probably the biggest compliment any band could get at all. That's one thing I really liked when this German website, metal.de, it's probably the biggest website in Germany. They write, you can say what you want about Sammath, and some people call it like in Death Forever is a really huge print mag, and they always give us like 6 or 7 out of 10 or 8 out of 10. They call us it's like the B league of the black metal. Never got really big, but they always they look at metal a bit differently, like who's the big bands and not who's the good bands, or who did something special. I don't know. It's just it's funny that people are picking that up in some way. It's fucking it's good. It's good. I mean, and to be honest, getting to a bigger label was also pretty fucking weird. I mean, you get like normal people talking about your music. And then asking questions. We had interviews with huge magazines, and they didn't have a fucking clue what they were talking about. So I just sit there and be polite and talk to some shitty print magazine from fuck knows where with 40,000 circulation, and they'd be asking questions. You'd be like, "Oh, really? Seriously? What a stupid question that is! You asked the same 6-7 questions to every band that you interview. What are you doing? Where's your passion gone? Stop being an idiot."
Let's talk about the big band, well, big-ish band that was inspired by Sammath, and it's really fucking those guys wear your shirts during their music videos. They try to be like you in some ways, have that very fast, rowdy aspect, but still different and a very different, marketed to a very different crowd. Vitriol from America.
Oh fuck! I was wondering where this was going. Vitriol, yeah. Well, fucking hell, man. I mean, Jesus. Kyle is fucking. Have you seen that bloke play guitar? I mean, for fuck's sake. I remember they posted a video of a song. What's it called? "Parting of a Neck." And that probably has. Anyone listening to this who likes standard black metal should get off their lazy little ass and put that track on and listen to that guitar solo. That's probably the most extreme guitar solo you're going to hear the next 10 years at least. I remember someone tagged me in that video, and even this one bloke from Germany. It was a German dude. I didn't know. He called me on my cell phone and said, "Jan, you have to listen to this band. The guy is wearing your T-shirt." And I had a look at that video, and it was like, I think it was 500,000 people were watching that. And there were people tagging me everywhere and said, Kyle Rasmussen brought me here. And I got to know Kyle. I had a look at my orders, at my back orders. And that was really funny that Kyle he ordered a shirt at the Sammath page somewhere a couple of 3-4 years ago. And we didn't have any shirts at the time because I was probably too lazy to get them reprinted. And he kept nagging me, sending me emails like 3 or 4 times on, "Don't forget my shirt, Jan. Don't forget my shirt, Jan." And so what I did is I was frantically searching around, and I found a shirt in his size, and I sent it to him for free because it took way too long. And there he is supporting my band, and he's got the patch on his jacket as well. And that band is absolutely, I don't know if they're really somewhat inspired. He says he is. And yeah, it was really weird for me. I went to their show in Holland, and I was standing there, and I promised Wim, the drummer, I'd drive that night. There's one thing that Mr. Sammath never does is fucking drive to a concert. So I was sitting there pretty pissed off because I couldn't have enough beer. And I had way too many, I think 6 or 7 beers. And I was standing there the second or third track of Vitriol. And Carl spotted me in the audience. He said, this show is dedicated to Jonas Sammath. And I was like, oh, really, mate, fucking hell. And people of that level of musicianship dedicating their show to you, you know, that was something else, man. That was fucking that was pretty fucking cool. I think I was pretty much godsmacked at the time. I was standing there in the pit, just headbanging and pushing people around like everyone else does. And then I don't know, it was really fucking cool. We had drinks backstage after that with Eric Rutten from Hate Eternal, and Kyle and his guys. I mean, the whole band knows my music. That was pretty much overwhelming stuff. It was like the same thing that happened when I signed to Hammerheart. You know, that people like the guys from Pestilence and Cryptopsy like hear your music, and I was like, fucking hell, okay, we're not really the really small black metal band is this thing of the past. You know, you've got I don't know, it just gets a bit too big, maybe. I don't know, but it's pretty fucking cool though. But you like Vitriol as well?
You know, I like some parts of what they do, but it kind of, you know, I think they're probably a bit too overactive. You know, too many riffs are going on. You know, a bit too much. I think they lack a bit of focus.
That's funny. That's absolutely funny. I mean, when I hear those guys play music, the first couple of times, I was so completely blown away that I was like, mate, what they're doing musically is 20, 30, 40 times better than what I'm doing. And then I was slowly listening back to it, and I had a lot of contact with Kyle as well. And he said, yeah, well, we're doing it. I mean, I was trying to think what he said. One of us, no, he said that. He said to me, well, what I'm doing technically, it might be great, but what you're doing bluntly, violently, is something I can't do.
Yeah.
And that was a fucking huge compliment as well. I mean, that's something that you can know when to stop playing that riff, know when. Yeah, it's really American death metal in a way, you know.
Yeah.
And that's something I don't know. That made me realize that did give me. I've always been very critical of my own music, and I know we're doing all right, and I love my own band, and I've got an ego as well. And we were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then there's this USA death metal bands, and I've had that before with other musicians saying, I really like your stuff, and I was always like, yeah, well my music's good, but what you guys do is so much better. And then I realized that what we're doing, even if it's on a different scale of being well known, is, well, fucking hell, I can be proud of the niche that Sammath has become, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And that's something I'm extremely proud of. And that's I don't know, you can't put that in sales or fucking how well known are you. Who gives a fuck about that? It's about the people that knock on my door at the front door of my house and say, hey, Jan, shit, dude, I want to buy a shirt, and I'd like, I want to have a talk and listen to music, and fuck yeah, why not come in, you know? And my wife's always like, don't let him in. This is our private life. And I'm like, fuck off, you know. I'll go to the studio. Yeah, but she's always been very supportive, but she doesn't understand. People who aren't metal will never understand how metal functions, you know. It's like I could tell her 100 times no one's going to come and rob me for 5 summer CDs and the couple of €100 I have here. I mean, fuck, they're here for the music, and that's it, you know.
So always be polite to Mrs. Sammath when you're going to their house. Always.
My wife is absolutely amazing. I used to smoke weed, Oh, my kids won't hear this, but perfect. Anyway, I used to smoke, and my wife has never smoked it or been near it. And when she got to know me, I'd leave the house. Like I think it was the first week we knew each other, and I left my flat in the city where we were living, and I left the house and with a couple of mates, and we were walking down the street, and I heard my wife screaming, "Yum yum yum yum! You forgot your weed!" And she's thrown the weed down the balconies. Have a good night, bye bye. She's always been this is a man I like, and he does this, that, says and so. I'm not going to change him. He can do his stuff, and that's probably as a man, that's probably the only thing you can look for in a woman. You know what I mean? That's exactly what you need as a man, is a woman who just do your thing, be who you are, and fucking be the man that your DNA says you should be, and that's about it.
So this brings us to 2019. Across the Rhine is Only Death. What can you tell us about that record now?
I think it's probably it's probably the most, it's the most fresh album there is. I was always thinking of doing an album solely related on the war that happened at my front doorstep. Because we are, after D-Day, everybody forgot about what happened in the area of Holland and Germany. That I live in Germany, just across the border. But what happened around here? There were more casualties than D-Day combined the first 15 days coming into Europe. And I have me and a friend of mine he's with the Dutch Special Forces. Every Monday for the last maybe 7.5, 8 years, every Monday we go out with our metal detectors and go around on the battlefields looking for explosives or guns or trenches or whatever we can find. It's a great time to be in the forest as well, and finding bullet belts, and that's fucking gas masks. You don't get a fucking more real than that. And we were digging up this one spot, and I had like the one after the other bullet came up, or casings. And I was like, I called my record label up when I was standing in the trench, and I said, I'm working on a new album, and I want to make a wood box, and the first 100 are going to get a fucking casing dug up from the battlefields. And you know what Guido from Hammerheart said? That's a great idea, young. I'll get that sorted. You make sure you get 100 cases, 50 German, 50 Canadian, and we'll get that sorted out. But that was fucking and then the whole thing got into a really went fast. I wrote a story about how the Germans came in, how the Canadians and the Americans came into Germany until the Rhine River, and that was where the title came from. Like, it was Across the Rhine is Only Death. It's a bit of a sarcastic title as well, because most of the death happened before they crossed the Rhine. It was. Yeah. There were so many people. There were so many stories here. You wouldn't believe it. There were German troops defending their own towns. So there was this one place called Kalkar. That's where the track Totenhügel is from. They had like 200 troops in a trench, in a split trench, and those 200 German troops stopped 90,000 fucking Allied soldiers for 2 days.
That's incredible.
200 fucking kids. They were like, I think they were like 18, 19. They had Panzerfaust, and they had like 1 or 2 tanks, and they fucking obliterated the Americans. I mean, and you don't read it in most history books because it's it's not done to say, but the German troops back then were way better than anything the Allies could throw at them. They were better trained. They were better looked after. Everything was better about them, and that's something you can't say because you're always you're extreme right and you're a Nazi. No, that's bullshit. I'm just interested and I like reading facts. It was really good to see how that's why we got a German 88mm gun on the t-shirts drawn. That album was purely made to make it as simply fast forward black metal. And I wanted to make sure that one of the albums I wrote in my career was just complete obliteration. That's probably what happened.
Yeah, and Ferocious Mortar Fire was a very surprising choice of a lead single because it's probably the slowest Sammath track ever.
Yeah, there's something really weird about that song. Yeah.
I know, but
Yeah,
yeah,
everybody in the band said, don't do that one. I said, we have to do that one because it's a weird one. And the record label said, don't make a video for that one. That's not one of the best songs. I said, no, it's not the best song, but it's the fucking most. It's a song that everyone's going to say, oh, no, not that again. And then, well, they probably won't listen to it. Only the people that really need to listen to it will click a bit further. But that was probably, for us, it was, I was really fucking surprised, Nick. We had the release on the 7th October in 2019, and 6 days later, it was the first 1,000 CDs were sold. That was fucking. That was pretty fucking weird. And before that, we had the 100 casings, the 100 wood boxes, and they were sold out in, what was it, 2.5 days? I mean, I remember that one of the guys that worked at Hammerheart calling me up and saying, Jon, you've got to log into the Hammerheart store. Here's your username, your password. Come and have a look what's happening with the Sammath sales at the moment. And I was like, yeah, here we go. That's funny. So I installed the My Shopify, whatever it was. I'd get like an email every 10 minutes. Sammath across the line is only deaths, Woodbox, pre-order, whatever it was. And I thought they were taking the piss, you know. I thought it was a fucking joke, and we ended up selling I think it was 13 or 1,400 albums in 2 weeks.
that's insane.
Individually. Yeah, that was pretty fucking weird, man. That was really weird. So he had like a second edition printed after that, and that sold out as well. And then he had a third one's going now, and we made 100 shirts. You know, just 100 shirts should be enough, and they were sold out in less than a week. And I had another 100 shirts made, and they were gone 3 weeks after that. And then I had another 100 shirts made. I think we've got 3 or 4 of them left. It's fucking that's some weird shit though. You feel like Salonda, you know. All I'm doing is making packages. That's a lot of fucking time-consuming stuff. And people are always saying, yeah, that's a lot of fun. I mean, seriously, you know what I'm talking about, Nick. If you're making like 10, 20, 30 packages a day, that's a lot of fucking work.
You know, people don't realize just how much space just one envelope takes up, and you're putting CDs.
Oh, yeah. And I make sure that everyone who orders something at my address, I always write a little note on a sticker or something like, "Hey, thanks for the order and cheers from Holland, blah blah." And it just my wife was sitting there watching me doing, and what I usually get is people are always ordering one vinyl, one tape, one CD, one shirt, one this, and before you've got it all in the package and fucking done, it's like 10 minutes. No shit. You know, it's like 10 minutes, and then you haven't been to the post office yet. But that's a luxury problem, you know. I mean, it's hilariously funny that I never expected this album to be the best-selling album we ever did. That's pretty. I don't know. It was absolutely, completely written to be the exact opposite. But no, that's just the way it goes, I suppose.
Yeah, and you know, there's one thing. There are some really weird parts. You know, I want to talk about the title song, the last one.
Yeah.
You know, it has that kind of flowing lead on top of it that you never did. It's like one of my favorite Sammath melodies ever. Might be my favorite one, actually.
Yeah, you mean the dying? How the album? There's not even one tremolo riff on the album that we're known for, and then the last song, the last 1 minute of the album, did this epic tremolo riff, and it's fucking
like beautiful flowing melodies. It sounds so great on top.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's probably it's a warning for what's coming up. It really is. I've just sent the last song to Wim tonight of the new album. I mean, that's gonna be dude. People won't have a fucking clue what's gonna hit them when they hear that new album. But Cross the Rider's Only Death is absolutely something. I think because of the way Godless Arrogance was written, I really had to write this album. Just no frills, no tremolo, no bullshit, completely straightforward 35 minutes of fuck you, everything, fuck everything, total dive, death, black metal, and that's it. And now I've got that out of my system, and now I can go back to what we're also known for as a bit of lots of tremolo riffs and letting some more old school influences back in.
I mean, that's where your heart is at right now. Like, you really want to explore what you did with Godless Arrogance.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanna combine the new album. I never really think about it until this one, and I've had it was just time to go back to really getting those fear upon them kind of Dodegang verwoesting kind of tremolo riffs and working them out better and just seeing where I could go with what people liked about my music. I always thought, nah, fuck you, I'm gonna do exactly the opposite the next CD. And now I was like, okay, now I've done the hardest, the fastest, and the most fuck you. Now I'm gonna go and write a CD. But this is all with all the things I've been growing up with, you know.
Yeah.
Still Sammath, and probably faster than our fastest song, and more fucked up. But you can definitely tell it's gonna be more tremolo related. I don't know, mate. I'm 46, mate. How long am I going to be doing this? You know, that's what I say. I think I've been telling my family this for the last 3 albums. You know, I'm getting old. How long am I going to be doing this shit for? And then it just keeps going and going and going. Well, I stopped smoking, so I might be able to get 90. Fuck, who knows? All I do is get drunk sometimes, and that's about it. You know, I think I've been wasted so many times the last 30 years. It's a fucking absolute miracle I'm still here. But yeah, it's exactly when my kids were born. I think it saved my life. So fuck it, if I can get albums out. I used to have a really big problem when I was about 40. Like, what am I doing black metal? I'm 40. What the fuck am I doing? And then I really just thought, like, fuck it. Who gives a flying fuck? I never have given a shit what people think. So why should I give a shit now? Fuck them.
All right. Do you want to give us some, some info on the new Keck and the new Sammath? Is there anything you can divulge?
Oh, hey, I can tell you that a huge part of the new Sammath album, a huge part, at least 3 or 4 songs, will directly be dealing with my grandfather's brother being during World War II. He got killed defending Holland from the Nazis when they came in, and the way he was absolutely slaughtered is absolutely. It's in the Grebbeberg. It's a Dutch, really small Dutch hill, right at the start of the Dutch defense system onto the west, and he got killed on the last day. And yeah, it's pretty weird when you come into a military graveyard and you see your own surname there. And it's always been a family thing of pride that, you know, Wim Bernard Kroetwagen died there, and my second name was also, you know, taken from that. So the next Sammath album will be a combination of lyrical wise, it will be about World War II and the end of World War II, and probably also dealing with some other psychological elements about what happens to you when you're in war. Funny thing is, I had this bloke from, where was it? Some war-torn, shitty country somewhere. What was it? I think it was Israel. Anyway, he grew up. He said, "You've never been in war. What are you talking about war for?" I said, "Mate, you've got a point. No, fuck you. I've never been in war at all. I've had a lot of fist fights, but that's something completely different. But if I was in a war, I wouldn't be able to even fucking play guitar. I'd be searching for water. So fuck off." Yeah, who cares? And it's gonna be something. I'll probably be able to send you some examples in about 3 weeks. Yeah, I mean, the next Sammath album will have bass solo tracks.
Wow.
And fucking Wim has got a drum solo track that's clocking in at about 3 minutes, and I've contributed like 2 riffs to the entire song, and it's just only Wim fucking going completely apeshit on his drum set. And he's been riding that track for like the last 3 months. Only that track. It feels like this is all coming down to it. Like we finally settled down. We got big with godless arrogance in a way, and we did Across the Rhine, and now we're taking all bits of the cake. Finally making up the one big part of what I am and what we're doing. That's good. And the Kark album is called Het Zwarte Dictaat. It translates to the Black Legacy, and that's going to be something. Storm Cult was good, but it was poorly produced and a bit overhasted in some ways. But this album is something. It's going to be. It's going to be swinging. It's going to be swinging blood. I don't know, man. This is something it's hard to explain how do you explain groovy black metal to people without sounding like a complete tosser, It's it's something very, 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 very primal. It's really worked out well.
I think that about finishes everything for today.
Thanks, buddy. I'll speak to you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Yeah, have a good night, mate. Cheers.
You too. Cheers.